and just watching how she not only covered him, but covered me and my brother as we went to school, things of that nature. So it wasn't necessarily the specifics, it was the reality of the home that I grew up in and what to look out for and what to, you know, kind of be ready for. And so, what my mom taught me how to be ready for, not a lot of men, necessarily carry the characteristics of my father. So if that's not the case, I'm not necessarily even looking your way, or you know what I mean, because I wasn't taught how to deal with you. I was taught how to deal with you, like, you know what I mean. So there definitely was teachings and examples, and I appreciate my mom, and she's still teaching. It's not something that is just a turn off thing because I got to a certain age. It's something that she's still doing.
You know what, Precious? What you're saying is the reality of the balance that you get when you come from both parents being in the house.
Yeah.
They taught you, and this is what listen, I was always understood that you learn by observation and hands-on experience.
Mm-hmm.
Some things you can talk to, some things you have to show hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
And in our community, you can look at a lot. You can look at our history. A lot of us didn't get the balance of that. A father ain't gonna be giving you, unless if it ain't got nothing to do with really sports or putting something together, he ain't gonna be out there showing you how to do a cartwheel and backwards flips and teach you how to wash dishes and do your clothes, your laundry. That's where your mom come in. Your father's gonna teach you how to have some courage about yourself, some stoicism, as the new word they like to use, throw around. He gonna teach you how to control your emotions. He gonna make sure you stand up to the bully, that dude that try to run you home. He gonna make sure that it's just certain balances that they bring to you. My father was big on education. My mother, she was cool. My father, don't get a call home from school, let me see a report card. And he dealt with me accordingly based off the grades. But he wasn't pressing me to, you better make all A's. He like, no, I don't want to see no damn D's because you ain't no dummy. You ain't no fool. Okay, cool. So I was cool with the C's in the classes that I really wasn't motivated in. The classes where the girl I like, rubbing on my leg and showing me her areolas in class. I couldn't concentrate. This is middle school. Really. I mean, but he bought that balance because he made sure that I was he was another big thing for him. I better respect adults. People that knew him when he was a kid, I better respect them. Now, people my age, I don't give a damn about people. If you 5 years younger than me, listen, it's hard for me to really listen to you. You got to get to my age. It's hard. I can be sentimental, empathetic with your situation, but you got to get there first. So wait till you get there, then we can talk for real. But, what I'm saying, just growing up in that time, it was just a different mindset. Guys and girls didn't really hang out together unless we was going to party or get together. Everybody had their lane. Now everybody's mixed up. You see young guys hanging out with girls, and no, I ain't hanging out. I ain't got no female friends. I ain't got no, if I got a woman, that's the only friend I need. If we friends, that means we see each other, we speak, we might parlay in that capacity, but arranging dates and all of that and doing all that, I was just different. I didn't hang out with guys that wanted to be on the dumb shit. I had to get home because my mama was cooking. She showed me how to listen. You make sure you get a woman that can cook. Make sure you get a woman that can clean her own house. And now I ain't saying that's what I want, because I understand that I have a role too. Like I said, my wife don't lift a finger outside. She can't cut the grass. She can't rake the leaf. She can't do none of that.
Yeah,
but when it comes to the inside, she understands her role. She gonna cook.
Not to cut you off though.
Yeah.
Trey, you know why your mama said find you a woman that can cook?
Why is that?
Because what a woman cooks and feeds you determines on how long you'll live or die.
And that's true. Mm-hmm. But see, that's the balance that she bought me. You know what I'm saying? She taught me how to be. She the one told me the game about women. So when a woman didn't align with what I was moving like, I didn't waste time. You didn't get no 2 or 3 years out of me. If I knew if I saw anything shady, I would let you know, and I would just dismiss you. I'm going to delete your number out of my phone. I ain't going to try to have a conversation with you because I had the conversation up front. don't disrespect me. Don't disrespect me. And I'll explain it to you 10 ways how you can disrespect me. Other than that, and that's how I teach my son, you know, like, man, you stay on your square. He's 21 years old. He's making like $42,000 a year. He like, I don't know if I want to get married, but in the meantime, son, these are things you must acquire. So if you have to live on your own, you can fix shit around your house. You can take care of yourself. You don't have to want somebody to want to do something. But at the same time, you know, I think a lot of today, it's just a lot of people have grown up fighting. Now everybody's looking to each other and they don't know how to communicate because a lot of shit could just be talked out, but nobody's willing to negotiate and make a deal. So it's gonna be a rough one for a long time. And I would hate to see a 25-year-old go to 55, 60 years old, ain't really been in a committed relationship, never had the experience of someone really caring about them and loving them, and vice versa. Because they still gonna be out here clapping cheeks. They still gonna be making babies, and the babies just gonna be dumb as hell because this is where we are.
Hey man, does your son still live with you?
Nah, man, he's on his own, man.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's on his own, man. I've always expressed that, like my mama expressed to me. But he has he got our support a whole heart. But he like, man, I can do this. I can take what I know. He's doing it.
Coach, I had a question for you from earlier, something that you commented on. You made mention about how when you were younger and certain, ways that you were reacting. Did the military have anything to do with shaping that? Because it gave
the military made it sort of worse as I got older.
No, that's what I'm referring to as far as you having the out of, like, for example, when you're in the military, you have the out of, now I can't be here long enough. You can't devote time to a relationship, and you have an out of why you can't.
No, that's what I'm saying. I developed that early, 14, 15 years old. I had that. I think the military made it worse because if you said something wrong, if I thought that you was hugging the dude inappropriately, I would address it. And if you felt, oh, well, there ain't nothing wrong, it's just my friend. No, I would move on. You wouldn't even be that important to me. Because I feel like if you want to talk to me, then your focus is on me so you can understand me. If not, I just wasn't attached to people like that as I got after the military, believe me, I ain't had no problem. Me and Tiger Woods was competing against each other. And I ain't had no bank like Tiger.
Yeah, what I was asking is specifically of not like when you said you didn't have to really commit to a relationship or you didn't have to take it seriously. Was that helpful in not having to take a relationship seriously? I took
anytime I approached a person, I took it seriously.
Okay.
But then it depended on how she took to me.
Okay.
See, everybody don't like light skin, big nose, even though I might like them burnt black, blue, all the way to high yellow, mellow yellow. But everything in between might not like me. Gotcha. So I wasn't going to force it. The fact that, oh, she's bad, she's got this. Oh, you don't like the light skins? Okay, I'll keep it moving. I just tuck my tail and go move over here. Throw my little fishing line over here. I was going after a little guppy when I realized that was a little guppy. But then I get over here, it's a big old two. Like, yeah, I want that.
Light skinned guys play victim. Yeah, get out of here, man.
No, I'm just saying, hey, man, listen. No, I'm just saying, I can accept the fact that I'm not attracted to everybody. I know this about myself. I'm ugly. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm so fine to some, and it just works out. To my wife, I'm the king. So to me, she's the king. She's the queen. So ain't nobody out here better than her. Ain't no way.
Oh, that's funny.
Is she watching right now? Was that where that came from? No, I'm just messing with you.
Oh my goodness.
She upstairs sleep, man.
I'm just messing with you, bro.
She gets put to bed early around here, man. She good.
Go ahead, talk your stuff. Go ahead.
He get on the live, okay? You do what you gotta do.
She good.
Andy, you'll be. I ain't mad at you.
He said, "Look,
everybody, all us young, all us fellas,
I got a show to be on. Let's go."
Yeah. All us who are trying to get to their status in marriage, take notes. I'm taking mine right now.
You can get there. You can get there. You just got to be focused on it and have conversations, man. Have conversations prior to you committing to that, and watch how she move towards you.
That's what I was
Absolutely.
gonna say about the boyfriend girlfriend thing. Because in my honest opinion, I don't think a fiance ain't nothing but a glorified girlfriend.
Yeah.
I
You
agree.
know what I'm saying? That time you're supposed to use that time to see if this person is giving you the ROI that you're looking for before you
Well, you
even
know what?
take it. Because
It's
marriage
a
don't really
chicken,
change nothing. It's
We're
just a piece
saying
of
the same
paper.
thing.
chicken or
Y'all
the egg,
supposed to
brother.
have them.
Chicken or
Y'all
the
supposed to
egg.
have that commitment and
We're
all
saying
that
the same
etched in
thing.
the beginning.
Yeah, we're saying the
Mhm.
same thing, just arguing over semantics, which I hate doing. So I got to
Right.
catch up. Yeah, it's semantics. It's boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, liar, cheater.
Well,
You know,
hold on,
none
man.
of that
Wait,
really
But
both
matters.
of you guys, right? Let me say this.
go ahead.
I hear you in theory, but if a woman's your fiance, you still had to ask her a question.
Yeah.
So I mean, you
If
can't.
a
Let's
woman's
not.
your girlfriend, you still had to
Hold
ask
on
her
for
a
a second.
question.
Hold on, man, Sean. Before you say anything, the question of asking a woman to be your wife is a whole lot different than asking a honey to be your girlfriend. I mean, we can't belittle that. I mean, we might want to. You might want
Yeah.
to, and you could come up. I'm
The
not going to
reason,
argue with you if you want to go ahead and rationalize that thing.
the
But when you ask a woman to be your wife, it's a whole different
thing,
level.
the difference is the reason why I agree
I'm
with
glad
you,
to
but
you, Sean.
here's what it boils down to. It depends on what you value. Just because you ask somebody to marry you, don't mean you're gonna value that.
No. See, but we could add all. You could add all the salt and pepper you want to it. You know, I can't argue with what you're just saying. I'm talking about people who are serious, right? Well, maybe it's because I'm married. I really made a distinction between having, like, I told my girl, I don't want another girlfriend. I want a woman I could make my wife. So the point really is that asking a woman to marry you should be sacred to men. It
It
should be
is.
sacred to men. I mean, listen, I mean, you can argue all you want with me and trying to belittle that shit.
It's
When
not.
you
It's not
ask
an
a
argument
woman
or
to marry
belittling.
you, it should be sacred to you. So
Well,
that means that you have to have a certain amount of ducks in a row before
Right.
you pop that particular question.
All right.
okay.
So hold on, Sean. Hold on. Let me clarify what I was saying real quick. What I was saying was you initially take her seriously and you say, hey, now we're boyfriend and girlfriend. From that time of boyfriend and girlfriend up until the time of fiance, when I say, hey, will you be my wife? Then they, yes, or whatever the case may be.
Uh,
Now we're fiance, right?
yeah.
It's still a time period, just like in the boyfriend and girlfriend stage, that if she changes, hold on, if she changes
I can say that.
or I don't get no ROI in between the fiance and the wife's to the actual ceremony to making her my wife, then I've had to say, because I had several fiancés, only 2 wives. But I had to tell them, time out. You just a glorified girlfriend. Stay in your place. You're not the wife yet. You know what I'm saying?
I
And
hear
that's
what
what
you're
I meant
saying,
by that.
brother.
That's what I
You
meant
know
by
what?
that. It's
I hear
levels
what
to
you're
it.
saying. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm not arguing with you because the way we deal with things, it depends on where our heads are at, right? And
Right.
so it's no right or wrong answer to this because you're right. A woman and a man could blow it in the fiance stage.
That's what I'm
So
saying. Yeah.
I grant you that. I'm just saying to me, and to everybody else, I make a big distinction between whether, because it's funny because when it was a point. Well, listen, when my wife, when very first thing when I asked her, I didn't want another girlfriend. I didn't propose to her that day. I didn't. I just let her know. I said, if we're gonna be together, we got to work towards something more meaningful. So it wasn't a proposal. She wasn't my fiance on that first date. And so, I mean, we're fooling around. We're going out. She had a curfew, by the way, so I had to bring her home at a certain time. And so I said, listen, because I'm gonna be honest. I said to her, so okay, so you're gonna be my girl, right? Because I never asked her that. She said, well, shit, I thought I already was because I had said all that other stuff before, right? And so, yeah, so she said, I thought I was already your girlfriend. I said, yeah, you are, blah, blah, blah. And then somewhere in that 5-month period, I actually made the real request, right? We were at Chi-Chi's. They don't even have that restaurant
My
no more.
goodness, Chi-Chi's.
Chi-Chi's, yeah, we had Chi-Chi's, and I proposed to her at Chi-Chi. You know, she was like ecstatic. I gave her a little cheap ass ring. It was cheap as hell. I could tell you that was no $10,000 ring or none of that shit. And then, you know, I proposed to her, but the day before I had talked to her father, you know, and I had said, listen, I'm going to propose to your daughter. I want to marry her and all that kind of stuff. He gave me his permission and all that. That shit's all non-existent pretty much today, which I'm
I
sad
did that
about.
too. Yeah, I did
Huh?
that. I said I
There
did
you
that
go.
with my wife. Yeah.
There you go. So
I agree. I agree. Like I said, to me, we're really going on our preference on how to look at it, but we're saying the same thing, which is be serious and intentional about your relationships when you want a relationship to last. And that's really what it boils down to. I can't say that yours is more valuable than his or his is more valuable than mine. The point is that if we're all serious, they're all valuable.
This is true. I'm gonna play this last video, then we're gonna get out of here. But this is it's pretty much this man is just in awe of his girlfriend. She's on there. However, I believe this is how a lot of women start. Some may not even start like this because she rolled out the red carpet for him. And it may seem small, but to him, it's a lot. And I think to a lot of men, it would be a lot because it's things that he didn't have to worry about. He didn't have to think about. It was already done for him. But it just reminded me of a level of ROI that a man would want from a woman, that a lot of women in today's world, like Styles was saying, would feel like it's slave work, or you know, don't have the heart posture to actually serve a man. So I just wanted to play this as we exit and get you guys' reaction to this. Maybe it's happened to you, maybe it hasn't. But I wanted to end on a good note here.
Friend visiting me for some time, and
I'm not going home.
Okay,
I'm playing.
I love that. But nah, yo, like I come home from work, you know what I'm saying? And look, she had made dinner. You know what I'm saying? Look, folded my clothes that was on the couch. Got them ready and folded them. Mind you, heavy on the folded. Got my towel ready, I think. Yes, got my towel ready, y'all. How do I go from living normal to... You might know good wedding venues, preferably by the water. Cause I got it. Let's try it and rate it 1 through 10. Oh wait, gotta pray. She be on my head about that. See what baby done did, y'all. See what she done did.
Baby, this your 1/3 work tomorrow. Wait.
I'm gonna go back to normal. Oh, it was a 10 out of 10. I didn't even...
So something that simple. Folded his clothes, made him some food. I don't know. That could have came from Bahama Breeze. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Man.
You could have showed that money a little bit.
Cooked for him. I think made his lunch for the next day for work. You know, simple things like that. I think take a lot.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. You said this word that you got to take out. You said simple. It's not that simple. It's not that common. It's that simple to you. It's not that common. Everything you just
common and simple are different. Yeah,
that's right.
Simple and common is not common. It's not common, but it is simple. It's simple to put a towel.
From your standpoint of the act of it is simple.
It
I
shows
agree.
paying attention.
I agree. The act of it is simple, but the consideration of it to us, it is,
Yeah, like those things are not things that a man should have to tell a woman to do. I don't think those are things. She know he's coming home from work, a towel and a washcloth. I mean, geez, you getting yourself one. You have one for yourself, right? So why wouldn't you get him one? Why wouldn't you get him a towel and a washcloth to wash and dry off with?
Well,
You're cooking, so why wouldn't you prepare his plate? Why wouldn't you do those things? You made food, so why wouldn't you put extra away in a container for him to take to work? To me, those things are simple.
I agree
Consideration.
wholeheartedly. Let me say this. My ex, that's what reeled me in. That's why I have so much compassion still and grace still when it comes to her, because that is what was given. The first time I went and saw her before we even started dating or anything, she did all of that, to the point that she thought that I didn't want it or like it because I just it was so unfamiliar to me. I was like taken aback, almost apprehensive, like, yo, what's going on? What's getting ready to come out? Who getting ready to come out? I wasn't, that's why I say, yes, it is simple. I agree. But for someone, and maybe it was just me who wasn't getting it at the time in a
Not
long
common.
Yeah, not common. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not common, but it is simple. And with men, it's the simple thing that actually holds the staying power, because that means that you're really paying attention to us.
Agreed. And I haven't seen all of us in sync and in agreement in a long time. But we all like, yep.
Yes, I think it's very simple. We're gonna end with closing words, or final thoughts, closing words. We're gonna end with final thoughts, but I believe this was a very, very, very good conversation. I like how Styles came in. I like the free flow of it instead of having, video after video after video. Everything doesn't have to always be so strategic. I like the free flow. I like the conversation. Stan, I appreciate you for coming up on the panel and
Thanks for
making
having
time. Of course, you're definitely welcome back anytime. But we're gonna do final thoughts, and we're gonna start with Sean, make our way over to Art Payne, down to Kenny, Stan, and then we'll end with Coach Ferg, and then I'll give my final thoughts, and then we'll get out of here. And thank you, Chat. I appreciate you guys. My cousin was in the building this evening, but she had to go off. She's doing her political things. And Jordan, thank you. It's been a while since I've seen you. White School Podcast, just anyone who participated. Thank you. You guys know you are the second co-host. So I appreciate you guys as well. All right, Sean, go on. Start us out with the final thought.
Man, I was gonna say, and Shawana, I just saw her comment, is kind of lending to what I was about to say. Simple is not common, and consideration is something that's necessary. She appreciates, she's considerate, and those two words is what's absent. And I won't just put it on the ladies only, because men are sometimes lacking consideration. As Coach Ferg said earlier, lacking respect. And I also agree with Coach Ferg that a lot of that could have been rooted in the crack era, because it separated the respect levels between generations. And it separated significantly. So I'll go back to what I started with, which is consideration, appreciation. Those are the things that are the reciprocation on our investments. And to your point, and thanks for correcting me, simple is not common.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you for being here this evening. Arcane, final thoughts?
Yeah, it's so funny when you reach back into the past and try to kind of extrapolate where we are today. I know Trey Ferg is big on the crack era, but there's a lot of stuff that happened before the crack era that made us susceptible to take the hit. So we don't have to go through all of that kind of stuff. We were weakened, right? Before the civil rights movement, I don't think the crack era would have been as effective because we had more families, more people in control. Once that broke up and we had a black flight from being in around black neighborhoods, we were susceptible to the bullshit that was out there. So when the crack era hit, that was right into the puppet master's hands. But but when we look at relationships and stuff, one of the things like I say to people, the return on investment is what you make it. Even today, and I'm gonna just say this, and I tell the young guys this: you got to put the bullshit aside. If you're looking for a wife, if you today are looking for a woman to be your wife, you have to have a certain amount of things that you can live with and you can live without. If you want a woman to have no kids, understand this: if she's black, you only have 30% of the gene pool to choose from. Because by the time they're 26 years old, more than 70% of black women have a kid. If you don't like that shit, you got to understand that. If you want her to be a certain way, if she has a job and she has a degree and all that kind of stuff, you have to understand that if you're going to put her out to work for 50 hours a week, just like you, then the tradition, the definition of tradition is changed, right? Because you don't want her to be out there toiling just like you are. The things you have to worry about the things you have to understand is that there's going to be guys in her life, in her job, that's going to be hitting on her. So you got to be on your square to make sure she's resistant to that kind of shit, just like you have to be, right? So there's a different calculus. But the nature of men and women, men are simple, right? I tell women this all the time. I don't care if you have a good man, a bad man. If he's heterosexual, he wants to bang you out. He might want to marry you first. He might want to do all this good shit first, but in the end, he wants to bang your ass out. Understand that. So it's not going to change. So we're a constant as men, and so being a constant, we're predictable and we could be manipulated. And so I'm just telling you, if you really want a wife, even in 2024, you have to be on your square and you have to be straight with the woman, and you have to be willing to walk away. You have to be willing to walk away. If she doesn't want to understand what you're laying down, and you won't see your return on investment in that first few conversations, then she's not for you. And you got to have enough gumption that there's another woman in the world for you. Not just, maybe that one is not right, but too many men acquiesce. If I don't get this box, I'll never get no box again. And a lot of men say, I can take the fact that she looks at me like I'm not her first choice. I'll end it here. One of the things that I didn't say it this way, but one of the things I was sure about with my wife, that she viewed me as her first choice, her first best choice when she married. And if you want to get married today, you have to have a reasonable assuredness that the woman views you as her first choice. Because if she doesn't, she's going to monkey branch and she's going to always be looking. And you have to look at her social media. You have to look at all this kind of stuff to see if she's still out there. If you don't have no pictures of you, she says you're her man, but none of the pictures in her social media have you in it, you need to walk away. You need to walk away. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of different things. Like I said, I can't tell you how to date, but I can tell you how to be married. And stop acting like asking a woman to marry you and letting them into your household and your inner circle is the same thing as asking her to be your girlfriend. It's not. It's absolutely not. I'll land there.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the panel. Kenny, your final thoughts?
Vet, take your time. Love yourself first. Put certain things out there to see how someone responds. The worst thing you could do is allow someone in that space where they know your vulnerable secrets. They said men are not stoic, but then they said they want stoic men. They have a subsect of women that won't correct other women. We're in a space where it's a lot more complex. And if pain listened carefully, I prefer to be back then because the value system was a lot more stern. Today, you need to just do what you're supposed to do and pray you make the right decisions. Don't leap before you look at the depths below you. Hopefully, you'll find that one person after failing forward and bumping up your head that will be there for you to care for you. If not, I don't know what to tell you, but never give up because I'm a big proponent that says the institution of marriage is a bad contract, but if you find the right one, you hit a lotto ticket. I'll play nice tonight. Go out there and find your forever. I landed there.
Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stan, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. My final thoughts on this one is going back to something that Coach Ferg was saying earlier about how we learn based off observation and hands-on. That's right in alignment with the way we think. Also, we have a left and a right brain. One side is creative, and the other side is logical. It means it likes to work. It likes to put it in the work. Creative side is based off the observation, fairy tale things like that. So with that being said, we have to understand and know what kind of return on our investment that we want dealing with the people that we want to deal with or that we actually involve or have in our lives. And that goes for the men and the women. We have to know what we want and we have to be willing to invest. So, appreciate you having me up here and y'all have a good night. This was a dope conversation.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're welcome to join us any other time. Probably again next week, Wednesday or one of the days, Wednesday or Thursday. Yesterday I had a leadership meeting, so
looking forward to it.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Coach Ferg. Final thoughts, sir?
I mean, it's always a pleasure coming up here, and I'm glad that we get a sort of a mix between the young and the old, and we have a woman's point of view that's pretty logical. That's always good because I usually speak beyond the panel because I know, it's a lot of young adults who haven't gotten to this dynamic of being in these relationships and, and started having children and thinking about family. So, it's always good to have it. But, everybody made great points. It's just unfortunate. And just to clear up when I say the crack era, it was just a time frame that I refer to. I work with a lot of young people, a lot of young adults who were born under that drug and who were affected through their families by that. I talked to a lot of these, had a lot of conversations with adults and teenagers and kids that were growing up. And I was coming into my adulthood during that time. I was just lucky to have joined the military and was protected by that in a sense. So when I would come home and see this shit falling apart, I was like, thank God I'm not involved in it. So I was able to escape it in a sense. But a lot of my friends, male and female, that stayed within that, and it's around the country. If you pretty much didn't leave home after high school, you was pretty much subject to whatever happened. And I saw the effects of it falling apart. But right now, and I think it's important. it's hard to say. There's no one remedy to this. That's the dynamic of it, because as a nation of people, we always dealt with the systematic, constructions that limited us. We always dealt with that, but we still found a way to sort of work things out as a unit. The man and the woman worked together. My mother had 6 sisters, all of them were married. Everybody was married. So I understood that women, had a certain role, and they all had good, strong babies. I was probably the wildest kid in all of my family because I smoked weed and had girlfriends, but I didn't do nothing stupid because I had a message coming from both parents. My parents didn't make excuses for my poor decisions. They held me accountable. And I think a lot of young adults didn't have that, I guess, that message to be held accountable. They've been made excuses, and young people understand that, what I'm saying, as they go, they take advantage of it. And now here we are today, they're adults. They're not holding children. A lot of young, children, unfortunate, they're the pawns in it. They're the one that's losing. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I come in. I focus on, because you 40-some-year-old, you already in your mindset. It would take a miracle from God. God would have to come down here and walk in your house and sit down and talk to you for you to change your mindset. But if you do want that change, you got to be willing to put in the work. It's not about nobody else at this time, not about how you were treated as a kid. It's not about the job you did or didn't get. But if you don't put in the work, you cannot be mad about the results you don't get. Don't spend the next 10, 15 years in your life and not trying to better yourself. It cannot happen. You'll be poor and your kids will be poor. It ain't gonna change. Only thing that's changed is the players. The game is still the same. So you just have to decide which line you want to be on. My last thing, the Olympics is coming. The Olympics is coming. Y'all got children, get y'all lazy ass kids outside, teach them how to do some flips, teach them how to skateboard, dance, take them out to California. In the meantime, you get in your best shape, guys, get in your best shape, ladies. So when y'all go out there, the world will see y'all. That 6-figure dude will see y'all. Somebody will find you and they'll be willing to change your life. If not, shut the hell up and stop crying. Get out of their damn way. I don't know. So appreciate you. I'm just around because this shit is scary. Just scary.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone. Hank had dropped off super early, and I hope everything's okay with him. I just thought he was going to come back, and he just never did. So I hope he's okay. But thank you guys. Final thoughts for me. ROI. Where is the ROI, return on investment? And women were created to be helpers for men. God created a woman to be a suitable helper for a man. Literally took her from his rib, as it says in the Bible. But I believe that women, there's so many instructions for women in the Bible and for men. But there's so many instructions for women in the Bible. And I think it's because it helps us become a better helper for men. Now, if it's being read, if it's being taught, if it's being, listened to, I'm not quite sure. But I believe that women always need to renew their minds, men and women, but I'm just speaking to the women right now. Women always have to renew their minds. Our Payne has said something about women and his wife, and he said that, my wife is good to me and things of that nature, but she's still a woman. She still has the nature of a woman. When her mind is frantic, I have to bring order to it.
Well,
right?
Preston, let me ask you something. I know it's your last word, but you said something. In the backdrop of what you said, women are also receivers.
Right.
Of men. So in the backdrop of all the rest of that, the receiver part is what I think we're missing, because it's a natural thing for women to understand. Let me get. It's not a negative thing. And so I said this before, and I'm going to end it here. And I'll let you go ahead and finish. Oh, I shouldn't say it that way. Men have to realize that there's emotional currency in all of us. And men burn credits. I know I burn credits with my wife. So, as her being a receiver, I have to replenish what I take.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where a lot of men fall short. You got to understand that a woman has a certain level, and it doesn't take much, but you have to replenish that supply that you burn and maybe put a little bit more. It doesn't really take much. And I think a lot of men forget that. So their natural inclination as receivers, meaning that you got to keep giving me something, and it's not just sex. So if you want all these things from her, you need to understand that as a man, for her to take care of you, you're burning credits. And I burn my credits. I fully, but I always replenish them with my wife, and it doesn't take much.
Mm-hmm.
That's to make her understand that she's not doing it for nothing. Once you get that done, then you got a certain sabbatical going on, and so it goes with her nature, right? So I mean, I'm just saying that. So that's just what I want to say. I didn't want to cut you off, but all the other stuff you said is spot on. But that one part about women being natural receivers from men or from people, you have to recognize that. And if you
Mm-hmm.
want a woman to be yours, you got to replenish that currency, because we all have a certain amount of emotional currency, but men, we don't. It doesn't weigh on us as much as it weighs on women.
And I agree with that. Thank you for adding that in there, because that is true. And in order for a woman not to feel like you straight up using her, you you got to deposit, those emotional credits. So I definitely agree with that wholeheartedly. Um, but I do believe that, women, before they follow a man, who have you followed before? Um, and in my household, it would be my mother. It would be the teachings of Christ and God and the Bible, just having that foundation. But it would be hard to know how to treat a man if I didn't see it, if I wasn't taught it, if I didn't read about it in the Bible. Like, it would be very hard to know I'd be very confused, very confused. And so I say all that to say that women do need to receive knowledge before they try to receive anything from a man, because you can receive everything from a man, everything that a man has to offer, but you don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to be reciprocal. Like Sean was saying, you don't know how to be reciprocal. You can receive all day. We can receive all day, but if we don't know how to put it into action and how to reciprocate certain things, because what you give me is not necessarily going to be what I give you, right? They say, men will give you the groceries, but the woman cooks the meal. Well, a man could give a woman a year's worth of groceries, but she don't know how to cook a lick. It don't really mean nothing, right? And so women do need to sit down and really figure out how to follow those who have done it, who are doing it, who have done it correctly, who husbands have said, hey, look, I do receive this ROI. Like our Payne said, I can't teach you how to date, but I can teach you on how to be married, right? And so those are the people that before you try to receive anything from a man, definitely be open to receiving the knowledge, the instruction, the correction, the provision of a man. And a lot of times that do come from, your mom and being in that marital relationship with your father. It's huge. It's monumental. You know what I mean? I forget who said it, but while my mom didn't teach me or didn't verbally say a lot of things until I got older to understand it, just seeing her doing the things that she did taught me a lot without her even having to say it. You know how they say, well, women will go to college for 4 years because they want to know that, you can do something for 4 years and be, dedicated day in and day out. There is no doubt in her mind if she's going to do it for my dad. She's going to do it. He has no doubt in his mind if she's going to do it. She's going to do it. because they have that bond, they have that agreement, they have that foundation. And so, unfortunately, women aren't being raised in houses like that. But again, you can still get the teaching, the following, the knowledge from those around you who are doing it correctly. And you have to want that. Women have to want it, right? Like I said, one of the biggest returns on investment is you actually wanting to be there for that man and to serve him. Relationships are about service. That's another thing. If a woman don't have a heart and a mind to serve, then you can forget about it. If she only wants to receive, you can forget about it. Our pain, your wife is a woman and she's a receiver, but if she only received from you, you would get tired of that. You would find no use for her in your life, because where is the ROI? Where is the reciprocation? And like Stan was saying, I think it was Stan, when he was saying how a lot of women nowadays, think it's slave work, or they can't do, or maybe it was Styles saying that. It was Styles saying, a lot of women think, doing those things is slave work, but they don't realize the ROI they're getting because they only want to receive. So you have to have the mindset and a heart posture to want to be able to, or not be able to, but actually do it. And service is actually looking out for others at the expense of yourself. So like you said, if you folding the clothes and you washing dishes just so he don't come in and be yapping at you, you kind of have the wrong heart posture. You should want to do it so he comes into a peaceful environment. My dad, I don't think he ever folded clothes when I don't remember him picking up a sock. Okay. He did. I don't remember that. I don't remember him, washing dishes. Now that it's just him and my mom in the house. Yeah, he'll do it because he loves my mom. He'll do it because sometimes her hips are hurting, or different elements as you get older. But when we was younger, that was the example. That was the teaching. We were in action. Okay, it's action time. All right, with no cameras. But women have to realize that you're not the only one that should receive a return on investment, because men are investing a lot, including their lives. And if you don't see the importance of that, if you don't see the return on investment that you're getting on that, then you'll never see it. You'll never get it. And a man is not going to stick around for you to get it. So we as women have to understand that, we were made to be his helper. And sometimes you got to be made over and over and over and over again. But if that's what you got to do in order to really be able to receive a man and reciprocate what he is actually doing for you, and reciprocate in ways that will be complementary to him, be suitable for him, because that's what we are. We're helpmates that are suitable for him, that's perfect for him, that fits in place for him. I think Stan said it. Our pain, your wife is a good wife for you, but she might not be a good wife for somebody else. She may not fit somebody else. She fits you. And so we just have to be mindful of those things. And I think these conversations help that. I think these conversations, push the needle towards those things. And I hope that, people get everything that we're trying to say, that we're trying to convey, that, the conversation, the free flow conversation. I love that this evening, the free flow conversation, because it took us in so many different directions, but it kept us still in the same ballpark of the ROI. And it opens a lot of eyes too. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who was on the panel, everyone in the chat. You guys join us next week. It's going to either be Wednesday or Thursday. If you don't follow me on Instagram, definitely follow me on Instagram, Real Precious Official. I let everyone know on there when we're going to go live. But I really do appreciate you guys. And as I always say, close. Oh, and I want to thank Darnell as well as Stanley for the Cash Apps. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you. But as I say, closing all the time, be real with yourself so you could be real with everyone else. You guys have a great evening and a happy Friday.